Hello everyone, my name is Ziamaro and welcome to Battlerite Sage. Today I'm going to be doing another Battlerite analysis video. This one was sent to me by Muzkito. He was playing 2v2 and judging by some of the toxicity in chat, I'm guessing he was around Diamond 5 and then his teammate was probably higher Diamond. He wasn't specific about what he wanted advice with, but he was just looking for some general comments. So just remember when you're watching this, it takes a lot of courage to send in a video, and I'm not going to be overly critical and neither should you. The purpose of these videos is just to help everyone get better. As a matter of fact, he plays a very good Uldor and he's very aggressive, which is good. One thing that I picked up on after watching this a few times is his discipline with his space ability can be a bit iffy at times. So I'll focus on that a bit. I've mentioned plenty about cooldown management before, but the way I like to see cooldowns is you have a response to anything that the enemy throws at you. So what I like to do normally when a game starts is I think, what does each of the enemy characters have and what do I have in my kit as a response to that? So something that you really need to think about is when you use your space, why are you using it? What are you using it in response to? So the game starts out with a little bit of poke. The Thorn actually gets a really good initiation and cancels the Rook's counter. So here's one of the first spaces. That one was actually a good one because the Rook threw his boulder at you. The only problem is you spaced right towards the Rook, and he probably should have punished you for that. I'm not entirely sure why the Rook went onto your Thorn, but he probably should have gone for you there because all your cooldowns were down. So he does another space here, presumably to avoid the Pearl silence, which is perfectly legitimate. And the positioning that you went to was better this time. The Rook does try to punish you for it, but you get a great Petrify off, so that's good. So at this point, you guys do some really great burst on the Pearl. Like, it was really great. However, one thing I will say is that he spaces towards the Pearl here. Now, Uldor is a ranged character, so you don't really need to chase down like that. And had the enemy noticed that you did it, they could have punished you for it. So here, Muzkito uses his space to reposition, which is good. And then straight out of the space, he uses his ultimate, which I think was a great play. There are loads of times when you might want to use Uldor's ultimate because it is a very versatile ult. But one of the things I really like about it is that it's an iframe that you can use or you can give to your allies. And in this particular case, they could have put a silence on you or something like that, and popping it there was really good. So yeah, not an awful lot to say about the first round. I think this one went really well. So, moving into the second round, we get another bit of a poke battle at the start. And what you'll see here is the Rook cancel casting his charge a couple of times to try and bait some abilities, but he eventually just opens up on Thorn. Now this is a difficult one because obviously you've got so many things to look at, but you probably could have used your space to avoid that stun from Rook there. But honestly, you never really know what's going through someone's head when something happens, so I wouldn't dwell on that too much. So here you do some absolutely huge burst onto Pearl. This was really great. But then you kind of panic space away from the Rook. I think you knew what you were doing here because you instantly put your Time Bender up for the charge as well, so that's okay. But you just got to be a little bit careful because you might have needed that space for something else at some point. But just there, that was a very good space where you dodged the Rook right click. That was great. At this point, it starts to look like it's going to go really well for your team, but unfortunately the stars kind of align for the other team and they do so much burst to your Thorn. So he burrows in, gets a bit aggressive because he sees an opportunity. And then he just takes this massive CC combo. And honestly, the only thing you could have done is had your ultimate ready to save him from that. But besides that, it was just a good play from the enemy team. So you win some, you lose some, and then it just ends up in a 1v2. You do a good job of trying to 1v2 them, but unfortunately it doesn't work out for you. But that's fine, we'll just move on to the next round. So this round gets off to an amazing start. Your DPS combos in this game were really on point, so well done with that. The round just starts out the same as before. The Rook engages onto the Thorn. He wastes his counter. And then here comes the big wombo combo with the damage. Both of you identified that his counter was down and did some really great bursts on him. These sort of trades are really good and it's exactly what you're looking for. And if you're sitting in Platinum at the moment thinking, what do I need to do to make that extra push to Diamond? That's a great example. If you can consistently punish people like that, that might be all it takes. So back to the game. Here's another example of where you've got to be a little bit careful chasing kills. Popping your space like that could have got you punished, and it's strange, but these games can turn around really fast if someone sees an opportunity. Luckily you don't get punished for it, but just something to watch out for. But yeah, because of that start, you guys pretty much just had this round in the bag from the beginning. And I'm actually going to skip to the final round here because you play great for the rest of the round and there's some stuff that I'd like to touch on with the last round. This round starts out pretty much the same as all the others, but they actually put a lot of pressure on your Thorn here, and he ends up getting stuck at the bottom. And this is a tough decision, but you decide to space through the wall, and I would say that was the right decision to make. The enemy Pearl actually spaced to you to try and silence you, but I think you did the right thing going to support your Thorn there, because if he dies, you lose the round anyway, so it's not a decision you want to have to make, but I'd say you've made the right call there. Now here, I'm sure you were thinking this at the time, and you don't really have any control over it, but the Thorn probably should have moved into mid after you bailed him out. But luckily, you do your massive wombo combo damage again, and you take out the Rook, which is really good. So now you're in a 1v1, and one thing you do here is you space through the bubble to try and get to Pearl, but she had her double bubble, so it was a little bit of a risky move. And right here is the first time that you actually get punished for using your space when you didn't need it. So not only do you take 40 damage from the Pearl ult, but you're also forced to space through the wall to try and get the orb, which you end up losing anyway, which in a 1v1 is not something you really want to happen. And right here you actually use your space again, and you weren't really avoiding anything, so I know I keep going on about it, but if there's anything to take away from this game, you played very, very well. But one thing you could improve on is your discipline with your space usage. The Pearl tries to bubble off the orb here, but you do a good job of sniping it back. And then for the next few seconds until the orb comes back up, you're just kind of trading blows, nothing really interesting happening. And of course, as you're both healers, you just kind of heal yourself up, try and hit each other again. You actually hit a counter here, but it was a well-timed one from the Pearl. Not much you could have really done about it. Sometimes you can keep track of it mentally and miss some shots on purpose. And right here, you use a space to avoid the silence. Avoiding stuff like that is a good time to use space. And she tries to punish you for it by using her ultimate, but you dodge it, which is great. And you just start trading some more blows. Again, you use your space to go through the bubble. A bit risky, but you do it straight into the ultimate, which is an okay combo to do. I think in that case, it's not the worst idea. A lot of these duels in sudden death are kind of determined by who gets more orbs. And I would say you should probably make a bit more use of your reflection orb. But you actually did a great petrify on the Pearl there and managed to get the orb off her. And then that's kind of it. You just do a bunch more damage and you end up taking the round. So thank you very much to Muzkito for sending this in. If you'd like to have one of your games analysed, then just send it to me in the YouTube messages. If you can, then let me know something specific that you'd like to work on, and then we can kind of focus on that. I'm still kind of working on the format of these analysis videos, so please feel free to give me some feedback on what you'd like to see more of or less of. If you enjoyed the video, then please feel free to subscribe for more Battlerite guides, news and discussion. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.